Welcome to EcoDesign Plus, Product Carbon Footprint Made Easy. EcoDesign Plus is a software solution that allows you to calculate the product carbon footprint, short PCF, for your product in a few simple steps. EcoDesign Plus is developed for designers and product developers, as well as for training purposes, as no prior knowledge of environmental assessment is needed and the software is intuitive and easy to use. How does it work and how do you benefit? EcoDesign Plus guides you through all product lifecycle stages. The program provides a product carbon footprint overview that's updated live as you make changes in your model. EcoDesign Plus provides a database on the basis of EcoInvent that is tailored to your needs. As a web app, the software runs on any browser wherever you go. No setup is required. This helps you to create models effortlessly and analyze your products quickly. You can share your models with your colleagues and collaborate. Duplicate models and modify them to compare different versions. This way you can find ways to improve your own designs and products. Let's look at how to create models of your own products. Throughout the model on the left side, an overview over the pages of the modeling and calculation is shown. Click on the titles to navigate through the model. On the right side, the product carbon footprint results are shown in a live calculation overview during the modeling. The first section, Life Cycle Info, features a general page that allows to enter a description of the model and settings for the calculation, like units and system boundaries, and a page to define the goal and scope of the analysis. In the section Life Phases, there's a page for each of the 5 life cycle phases that allows to enter life cycle data of your product. We will have a more detailed look into these pages on the following slides. After adding all necessary data, the page Summary Report shows the results of the calculation in a handy one-page document. If the user creates multiple versions of a model, the page Comparison of Product Models shows a direct comparison of the versions for each lifecycle phase. Let's now look into how to enter the product information for each of the 5 lifecycle phases. Modeling raw materials. In the list you see a number of assemblies, each containing at least one dataset of a material used. You can add datasets and assemblies by clicking the respective button at the top right of the window. Drag and drop datasets to move them in and out of assemblies. The pie chart in the bottom left corner provides an overview over the added environmental items of that lifecycle phase. In case of our simple example of a water kettle, there are a few different material datasets organized in the main sub-assemblies of the kettle. Let's have a closer look at the cable assembly. To enter and edit an already created dataset or assembly, click on the title. Within the assembly, you find a list of components and possibly other assemblies comprising the assembly. Just like in the top level, you can create datasets and assemblies by clicking on the buttons on the right. Below the components of the assembly, you find sections for processing of the assembly as well as packaging and transport to the place of manufacture. The cable assembly in our example contains copper wire and PVC as components. The process of molding of the insulation around the wire is modeled by the use of electricity, and cardboard packaging and delivery by truck are added accordingly. Let's look at an individual component dataset now. Copper wire. After creating a new component dataset, an environmental item, its amount and unit need to be specified. To find an environmental item, just start typing the name in the field and the drop-down menu will show fitting items from the database. Just like in the assembly on the previous slide, the component allows to add processes, packaging, and transportation. Now let's look at how to add processes of manufacture to the product model on the next page, Manufacture. This page shows tabs for energy and processes, manufacturing waste, and end of life of manufacturing waste. Add datasets for all processes to manufacture your product just like raw materials were added to the first page, to the tab Energy and Processes. Assemblies can be used to add structure to the list. Materials used in the manufacture that are not part of the product can be added in the tab Waste, and the scenario of waste treatment is selected in the tab EOL Waste. Modeling distribution. Environmental items representing the packaging and transport of the product to the customer are added on this page in the respective tabs. On the page Use, enter all environmental items that occur during the use phase of the product. Use items are categorized in 3 tabs: Energy, Consumables, and Transportation. In the example of the water kettle, the only contribution is energy use for heating the water. Notice that an assembly is used to model the repeated use over the lifetime. The multiplication is done automatically by the software. On the page End of Life, the user finds a collection of all the raw materials used for the product that's automatically generated by the software based on the entries on previous pages. Waste items are categorized in the 3 tabs: Materials, Packaging, and Consumables. Select the end-of-life scenario for each material by entering percentages in the respective columns: recycle, incinerate, or landfill. Notice that the entries need to sum up to 100% for each material. With all information of the model entered, we can now look at the results in the next section. The summary report shows all findings of the product carbon footprint of the modeled product on a single page. This includes the total carbon footprint, the distribution along the life cycle, and pie charts for the most relevant life cycle phases that show the biggest contributors. You can export this page as PDF for your documentation. ECODESIGN Plus allows to create a new version of the current model by clicking on the stack symbol above the life calculation overview in the top right corner of the screen. The page Comparison of Product Models shows the PCF of all versions of the product in a diagram over the life cycle phases, allowing you to find the best potential for improvements easily. You are ready now. Go to app.ecodesignplus.com and log into your account to start modeling your product carbon footprint today. ECODESIGN Plus has been developed by ECODESIGN Company. For licensing and support, reach out to contact@ecodesigncompany.com.